Welcome to the Lawn, the all-year-round visitor centre where a fascinating mix of attractions adds to the pleasure of being in Lincoln. The Lawn Centre, developed by the City Council as a multi-purpose tourism, arts and conference facility, is located alongside Lincoln Castle. It's an important part of the city's heritage trail. All of the amenities of the Lawn Centre are free of charge and open all year round. Let's pause for a moment and enjoy the peaceful atmosphere of the spacious grounds and gardens. For these, we have to thank enlightened pioneers in mental health care in the early 19th century, for it was they who built the Lawn as a mental hospital with lots of space around. The idea was that the patient should feel free even though they were hospitalized. The trees, now splendidly mature, were planted to try and stop the smog from the early factories of workaday Lincoln. At the north end, the John Dauber Garden, which celebrates Lincoln's twinning connections around the world, was once the kitchen garden where patients were encouraged to work. The earliest name in the history of the Lawn is that of Dr. Francis Willis, physician at Lincoln County Hospital in the late 18th century, with a specialist interest in mental illness. As his fame grew in this field, he was called to treat George III and the Queen of Portugal. His son John followed him into medicine, and both campaigned for and gave money towards a separate hospital for the mentally ill. The good work was carried on by a later county hospital physician, Dr. Edward Parker Charlesworth, who was to become the Lawn's first medical director. From 1820 to 1850, under his enlightened care, the old-style mental hospital regime of straitjackets and restraint was gradually consigned to history. Instead, patients were encouraged to take up hobbies and help in the running of the hospital as a means of therapy. It was a world first. It happened here at the Lawn. The history books say so. 300 people from around Europe came in 1 month, August 1846, to witness what Dr. Charlesworth and his team were achieving. The Lawn maintained the tradition of enlightened policy until its closure as a hospital in 1985. Then it was bought and renovated by the City Council, who had the vision of the complex we see today. His Royal Highness, the Prince of Wales, officially opened the complex in 1990. The Prince, applying his own interest in architecture and conservation, congratulated all who helped restore the Lawn. One of the major new amenities enjoyed by the Prince and many thousands of visitors since is the Sir Joseph Banks Tropical Conservatory. Lincolnshire-born, Joseph Banks was one of the most important figures in botanical discovery. He was the chief scientific officer aboard Captain Cook's Endeavour, which circumnavigated the globe in 1768. Banks led a team of 9 botanists aboard the Endeavour, and they collected and catalogued thousands of plants from Australasia and the South Seas. The conservatory traces the Endeavour's route around the world. Banks was one of England's foremost scientists, founder of the Royal Botanical Gardens at Kew, and president of the Royal Society for 41 years. At home in Lincolnshire, his interests were wide and his projects diverse. He helped drain the fens and restore the cathedral. Just a few yards away, we find the Archaeological Centre in Charlotte House, once the nurses' home. The Archaeological Centre is an interactive experience aimed particularly at school children that celebrates the archaeology of one of Britain's most ancient cities. Would you have the patience and skill to dig down into the layers of history like a detective in a time warp? Once in a while, there's a rare and impressive find, but most of the time you're a team player, helping to reassemble a jigsaw of the past. Just along from the display that tells the story of the Lawn Hospital, we find another unusual museum, again with strong local connections. In World War II, Lincolnshire was Bomber County. Night after night, hundreds of Lancaster bombers flew from Lincolnshire airfields to attack enemy targets in mainland Europe. Many crews perished and never saw the welcome landmark of Lincoln Cathedral on their return. The nearest base to Lincoln was RAF Skellingthorpe, then partly within the city boundary, and home to 50 and 61 squadrons of Bomber Command. In 1989, veterans of the two squadrons gathered at the former airfield, now part of the Birchwood housing estate, to unveil a memorial to those comrades who failed to return. The rekindling of the friendship between the squadrons and the city led to the creation of the new museum. And so the lawn is many things to many people. It's one of Lincoln's leading arts and entertainment venues. The main hall, with superb acoustics, is popular for conferences, social events and performances of all kinds. Lots of people come again in December when Lincoln's famous Christmas market takes over the historic quarter. At this event, the lawn hosts the indoor market with busy and colourful stalls. With its wide-ranging attractions, beautiful grounds, restaurant, pub, shops and cafe, the lawn is much loved and much used by local people and by many thousands of visitors who travel the Lincoln Heritage Trail. So please enjoy the lawn and its free amenities, a fitting contribution to this proud and beautiful city of Lincoln.